Now, we return to the numbers. Here are 55 amazing numbers to expand your mind. 13 is the sixth prime number. By the way, triskaidekaphobia is a word for the fear of the number 13, because reversing the digits also gives a prime number. 13 is an unrepeated decimal. Also, it is the second Wilson prime, with the others being 5 and 563. 5 is the third prime number. Also, 5 is the second Fermat prime of the form 2 to the 2 to the n plus 1. There are also 5 known Fermat primes, which also include 3, 17, 257, and 65,537. A pentagram is a 5-pointed polygram. 65 miles per hour is a common speed limit on expressways in many U.S. states as of 2024. Also, 65 is 1 to the 5 plus 2 to the 4 plus 3 to the 3 plus 4 to the 2 plus 5 to the 1. This number is an octagonal number, and it is also a Cullen number. 15 is the 8th composite number and the 6th semiprime. For numeral bases, 15 is a replicative binary, 1111, and quaternary, 33. For hexadecimal and higher bases, it is represented as F. It is also the smallest number that can be factorized using Shor's algorithm. 24 is the average number of hours in a day on Earth, subtracting 1 from any of its divisors, except 1 and 2 but including itself, yields a prime number. It is the largest number with this property. The third non-agonal number is 24. 26 is the number of letters in the alphabet, in base 10. 26 is the smallest non-palindrome to have a square that is a palindrome. By the way, 26 is the smallest number that is both a non-Titian and a non-Catachan number. 7 is the fourth prime number. By the way, if 999,999 is divided by 7, it equals exactly 142,857. Also, it is a Whitlow prime, a factorial prime, a Hurst number, a lucky prime, a happy number, and a safe prime. 47 is the 15th prime number, and the 6th Lucas prime. The number is also a Thabit number because it's equal to 3 times 2 to the 4 minus 1. 47 is also a highly cototient number. This number is an Eisenstein prime with no imaginary part and real part of the form 3n-1. 30 is an even, composite, and pronic number. Also, 30 is a primorial, which is like a factorial but with prime numbers instead of natural numbers, adding some subsets of its divisors, which are 5, 10, and 15 specifically, adds up to 30, making it a semi-perfect number. 60 is the number of seconds in a minute and the number of minutes in an hour. Also, 60 is the smallest number divisible by numbers 1 to 6. There is no smaller number divisible by the numbers 1 to 5, being 10 times a perfect number. 60 is a semi-perfect number. 79 is the 22nd prime number and a cousin prime with 83. This number, 79, is a right truncatable prime because when the last digit is removed, the remaining number, 7, is still prime. By the way, 79 is a lucky prime, a happy prime, a Higgs prime, a circular prime, and a fortunate prime. 27 is the cube of 3, or 3 tetrated to the 2. Besides, the sum of the first 4 composite numbers is 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9 equals 27, while for the first 4 prime numbers, it's 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 equals 17. By the way, 27 is the only positive integer that is 3 times the sum of its digits. 17 is a prime in form 2 to the n plus 1. Also, 17 is the 7th prime number. 7 itself is prime, which makes it the 4th superprime. Besides, 17 is the 3rd Fermat prime, which means it is a prime in the form 2 to the 2 to the n plus 1. 39 is the 12th distinct semiprime and the 4th in the 3 times q family. Also, 39 has an aliquot sum of 17, which is a prime, since the sum of 39's proper divisors is 1 plus 3 plus 13 equals 17. It is also a perfect totient number, which means it is equal to the sum of its iterated totient. 52 is the approximate number of weeks in a year, as a composite number. 52 is also a square prime of the form p to the 2 times q, where q is a higher prime. It is the 6th of this form and the 5th of the form 2 to the 2 times q. 98 is a composite number, as it is 2 times 7 to the 2. In general, 200 Schreiber-Brin-Etherington numbers can be used to count certain kinds of binary trees. 100 is 10 to the 2 in scientific notation. By the way, 100 can be expressed as a sum of some of its divisors, making it a semi-perfect number. It is the sum of the first 9 prime numbers, from 2 through 23. It is also divisible by the number of primes below it, 25. 86 is 2 times a prime number, and it is the 25th distinct semi-prime and the 13th of the form 2q. Together with 85 and 87, 86 forms the second cluster of 3 consecutive semi-primes, with the first comprising 33, 34, and 35. 37 is the 12th or dozenth prime number. It is the third Cuban prime, which is a prime which is a solution to one of 2 different specific equations involving differences between third powers of 2 integers x and y. It is also the 5th lucky prime after 3, 7, 13, and 31. 82 is the atomic number of lead. The aliquot sum of this number is 44, which is another semi-prime. 82 is also a happy number, meaning it eventually reaches 1 when replaced by the sum of the squares of each digit. 57 is the number found in a brand name of sauce called Heinz 57. Also, the first icosagonal or 20gonal number is 57. The third Bloom integer is 57. By the way, a Bloom integer is a semi-prime where both prime factors are congruent to 3 mod 4. 44 is the number of candles in a box of Hanukkah candles. The first cluster of 2 square primes of the form p to the 2 times q is 44 and 45. 44 is the first member of the 2. Also, the number of derangements of 5 items is 44. 34 is the 9th distinct semi-prime. To be more specific, it is the 6th of the form 2 times q, or 2q. It is also the 9th Fibonacci number and a companion Pell number. Since it is an odd-indexed Fibonacci number, it is a Markov number. 76 is, in colloquial American parlance, a reference to 1776, the year of the signing of the United States Declaration of Independence. After 14 and 39, 76 is the next 14gonal or tetragonal number. 55 is the 15th discrete semi-prime and second with 5 as the lowest non-unitary factor, because 55 is the sum of the squares of the integers from 1 to 5. It is a square pyramidal number. 55 is also the 10th Fibonacci number. It is the largest Fibonacci number that is triangular number, which is the 10th in the category as well. 62 is the 18th discrete semi-prime, 2 times 31, and the 10th of the form 2q, where q is a higher prime. It is the smallest number that is the sum of 3 distinct positive squares in more than one way. By the way, this number is the sum of the number of faces, edges, and vertices of icosahedron or dodecahedron. 25 is a square number, being 5 to the 2. When dealing with percentages, 25% is equal to 1/4. Also, 25 is the sum of the consecutive single-digit odd natural numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. The number of primes under 100 is 25. 6 is the smallest perfect number. 6 is also the smallest positive integer that is neither a square number nor a prime number. Additionally, 6 is a triangular number, and so is its square, 36. Also, 6 is the only even perfect number that is not the sum of successive odd cubes. 49 is a square of a prime number, 7, and the fourth non-unitary square prime of the form p to the 2. The number is the first square where the digits are squares, because 4 and 9 are squares. Also, the sum of the digits of its square, 2401, is the square root of 49. 2 plus 4 plus 0 plus 1 equals 7. 58 is the 17th discrete semi-prime. Discrete semi-primes are semi-primes that are not square numbers. The number 58 is the smallest integer whose square root has a continued fraction with period 7. It is also the 9th discrete semi-prime with 2 as the lowest non-unitary factor, and thus of the form 2 times q, where q is a higher prime. 87 is the sum of the squares of the first 4 primes. 87 equals 2 to the 2 plus 3 to the 2 plus 5 to the 2 plus 7 to the 2. Together with 85 and 86, 87 forms the last member of the second cluster of 3 consecutive semi-primes, with the first comprising 33, 34, and 35. 66 was a popular root number in the U.S., Specifically, it was the designation for the historic U.S. Route 66. Also, 66 is a semi-perfect number because this number is a multiple of the perfect number, 6. 92 is the atomic number of uranium. Also, 92 is palindromic in bases 6, 232, 7, 161, 22, 44, and 45, 22. It has an aliquot sum of 76, which is itself a square prime. 92 is also a square prime of the general form p to the 2 times q, where q is a higher prime. It is the 10th of this form. 10 is the base of our decimal numeral system, which is the most common system of numbers in both spoken and written language. Also, it is the smallest non-cototient, which is a number that can't be expressed as the difference between any integer and the total number of coprimes below it. 35 is a tetrahedral number because it is the sum of the first 5 triangular numbers. 35 is also the 10th discrete tetrahedron, 5 times 7, and the first of 5 as the lowest non-unitary factor. By the way, 35 is the number of ways 3 things can be selected from a set of 7 unique things, aka the combination of 7 things taken 3 at a time. 89 is the 24th prime number, following 83 and preceding 97. M89 is the 10th Mersenne prime. By the way, this is an Eisenstein prime with no imaginary part and real part of the form 3n-1. 89 is also a Fibonacci number, and because it is prime, it is a Fibonacci prime as well. 63 is the sum of the first 6 powers of 2. It contains a prime aliquot sum of 41, which is the 13th indexed prime, and part of the aliquot sequence. 63, 41, 1, 0, within the 41 aliquot tree. Also, it is the 8th highly cototient number. 8 is the smallest non-trivial cube. 8 is the base of the octal number system as well, which is mostly used with computers. It is also 2 to the 3, with the third power of 2, making it the first cube prime of the fourth p to the 3. 67 is the 19th prime number, the next is 71, making 67 and 71 cousin primes. In addition to 67 being a prime, it is also a Chen prime because that prime plus 2 is a product of 2 primes. 67 is also a super prime. The ordinal number 19 is prime, an irregular prime, a lucky prime, and an isolated prime. 65 and 69 are not prime. 18 is the 10th composite number, and 10 itself is composite. 3 of the number 18's divisors add up to itself, which makes it a semi-perfect number. Also, 18 is an abundant number, as the sum of its proper divisors is greater than itself, as 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 9 equals 21. 21 is the 5th distinct subprime. 21 is, by the way, the 5th Motzking number and the 8th Fibonacci number. It is also the 6th triangular number and the sum of the divisors of the first 5 positive integers. 99 is the highest 2-digit number in decimal. Also, 99 is a square prime of the form p to the 2 times q. It is the 11th composite number of this form. It has an aliquot sum of 57, which is also composite. 40 is the 4th octagonal number, the smallest number, and with exactly 9 solutions to the equation Euler's totient function is 40. Also, 40 is a replicate in ternary, which is 1111, as the sum of the first 4 pentagonal numbers. It is also the 4th pentagonal pyramidal number. 28 is the 2nd perfect number, which means it's the sum of its proper divisors. By the way, there are 28 non-equivalent ways of expressing 1000 as the sum of 2 prime numbers. 28 is also the sum of the totient function for the first 9 integers. 51 is the number for the well-known area 51. Also, 51 is the 6th Motzkin number, telling the number of ways to draw non-intersecting chords between any 6 points on the circle's boundary. It is a parent number, coming after 22, 29, and 39 in the sequence. That's because the sum of the first 2 mentioned terms is 22 plus 29 equals 51. 29 is the 10th prime number and the 5th primordial prime, because 29 is a parent number. It is a number defined by a recurrence relation. Also, 29 is a Lucas prime and a Pell prime. None of the first 29 natural numbers have 3 different prime factors or more. This is the longest such consecutive sequence. 91 is 7 7q, where q is a higher prime. By the way, it is the smallest positive integer expressible as a sum of two cubes in two different ways if negative roots are allowed. 54 is the number of countries in Africa as of 2023. Additionally, 54 is the only non-trivial neon number in power 9, since the sum of the digits of 54 to the 9, 390430591231334, is 54. The Holt graph has 54 edges. 20 is the basis for vigesimal number systems. E to the pi minus pi very nearly have a difference equal to 20 because that difference is about 0.0009 less than an integer value. 20 is the smallest primitive abundant number because it is an abundant number whose proper divisors are all deficient numbers. 42 is, in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. 42 is also 10 factorial divided by the number of seconds in a day or the number of days in 10 factorial seconds. 90 and 19 are often confused in the English language, as they sound very similar. In normal space, the interior angles of a rectangle measure 90 degrees each. 90 is also divisible by the sum of its base 10 digits, which makes it the 32nd Harshad number. 77 is the sum of the first 8 prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. This number is a Bloom integer since both 7 and 11 are Gaussian primes. 8 and 49 are the only two-digit numbers as of 2024 whose home primes, in base 10, have not been calculated. 80 is the sum of Euler's totient function over the first 16 integers. Also, 80 is the sum of the first 4 twin prime pairs, 3 plus 5, plus 5 plus 7, plus 11 plus 13, plus 17 plus 19. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, states that for many events, roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. 74 is the 21st distinct center prime in the 11th of the form 2q, where q is a higher prime. 74 is also with an aliquot sum of 40, within an aliquot sequence of 3 composite numbers, 74, 40, 50, 43, 1, 0, to the prime and 43 aliquot tree. 59 is the number corresponding to the last minute in a given hour and the last second in a given minute. By the way, since 15 factorial plus 1 is divisible by 59, but 59 is not 1 more than a multiple of 15, 59 is a Pillai prime, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please press the like button and subscribe to Dust1218 for more videos. If Dust1218 made any mistakes, please let him know. We'll see you next time.